Well, let's turn our fact-checking eyes on and bring in Catalina Marchant-Debreu for Truth or Fake. Catalina, a very good evening to you. In this edition, users on social media questioning the extent of the damage of the Fordo nuclear site. Fordo, of course, the largest, if you like, the epicenter of Iran's nuclear development, one of the 3 sites struck by the US in their bombing raid over the weekend.
That's right, Mark. As you said, following the strike, new satellite images reveal damage at the Fordo nuclear facility after U.S. military aircrafts bombed the site. However, many users on social media are still questioning the exact extent of the damage based on these images, which so far is the only proof we have of this attack. In this post seen over 8 million times on X, this user says this is probably one of the greatest U.S. military fails, a PR disaster waiting to backfire. This user continues to say Iran's nuclear facility in Fordo remains intact with little to no damages. Then another user shared this animation of the Fordo nuclear site based on satellite images released by U.S. defense contractor Maxar Technologies, while saying the Fordo nuclear enrichment facility before and after U.S. strikes. This user says, draw your own conclusions.
The image is there to be seen. Based on that satellite imagery then being shared, damage to the Fordo nuclear site not as visible as one might perhaps expect given the size of the bomb dropped on it.
That's right, Mark. Here's the satellite images over the Fordo uranium enrichment plant before and after the U.S. struck the underground nuclear facility. So this one's from June 20th, and this one here, June 22nd, via Maxar Technologies. The same images that are being shared by users who do have a point. Based on this satellite imagery, the extent of the damage is not quite clear to the naked eye. However, a closer satellite view of Fordo actually shows 6 neatly spaced impact craters. You could see them right there in 2 clusters of 3 striking beneath what are likely where the ventilation shafts are believed to be located based on satellite images of early construction of the site. Hence, this satellite imagery, the one we saw before, doesn't actually show external damage since the Fordo nuclear site is actually buried 80 to 90 meters deep under this mountain. In order to penetrate this structure, the U.S. used GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, illustrated here by the AFP. These bombs are designed to penetrate earth and concrete before detonating up to 60 meters deep underground, hence targeting the nuclear facility's internal halls. But based on an IAEA report, the extent of the damage at Fordo is actually still unclear, even though there's indications of impacts. An assessment is still needed for the degree of internal damage underground, to which the UN nuclear watchdog still cannot pronounce themselves. So Trump's claims that the site was completely obliterated actually lacks evidence. The extent of the damage actually remains uncertain due to the facility's depth and lack of direct access.
So speculation too, Catalina, that Iran relocated its enriched uranium from Fordo before this US strike was carried out. Is there any truth in that? Is it fake? Explain.
We'll explain. The head of the UN nuclear watchdog actually said that his agency is seeking access to the site to account for Iran's highly enriched uranium stockpiles necessary, he says, to end the conflict and bring peace. But there are fears that Iran has moved 400 kilograms stockpile of its 60% enriched uranium to a secret location days before the U.S. launched strikes on its nuclear bases. That would be based on this satellite images released once again by Maxar Technologies that appear to show more than a dozen cargo-style trucks. You could see them lined up here outside the Fordo nuclear enrichment site's tunnel entrance on Thursday and Friday, so just days before the U.S. carried out its large-scale airstrikes. The vehicles, which came in and out over a 24-hour stretch, appeared to move unidentified contacts roughly a mile away, according to this free press report citing U.S. officials. And following these reports, the Iranian media news agency actually confirmed on June 22nd that most of the uranium that was previously stored at Fordo was moved to another location. Pre-strike, according to unnamed Iranian sources cited, the exact location of the relocated uranium is not specified by these sources, so it remains a secret for now. While, yes, there are conflicting versions, since the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio recently said that he doubts that Iran was able to move anything prior to the attacks, but also acknowledged that no one will know for certain for days.
Catalina, truth or fake, thank you very much indeed.